Okay, hello everybody. Let's discuss now how to make your final project. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to do experiment at your home. Okay, so you can get the ideas from internet. So you can do some simple experiment at home, and once the experiment is done, you will have the data with you. So let's discuss how you're going to present it. So you have to present it by the PowerPoint. Okay, and this PowerPoint presentation, I want you guys to I will be creating Dropbox on Blackboard, and you will be uploading your PowerPoint presentations there. Okay, and then I will grade it. And um, if you need any feedback from me before you upload there, you're most welcome to do that. You can send me your PowerPoint by email, and I can go over it and let you know if there is something, if there is everything okay with the presentation. Okay, so you can definitely get the feedback, and also if you need any help with choosing the experiment, you're most welcome again to contact me for that. So okay, let's discuss how you're going to make a PowerPoint presentation once your experiment is done and you have the data with you. So basically, let's discuss first of all how any scientific document is written. So scientific document includes a research paper or a lab report. Okay, so how to write scientifically means how to do a scientific writing. So when we write a scientific document, it has some parts, and those parts are, it has a title, introduction, materials and method, results, interpretation and discussion, conclusion and references. So these are the different components of your scientific document. So whether you're writing a research paper or a scientific report, you write under these headings. Okay, so it includes title, introduction, materials and method, results, interpretation and discussion, conclusion, and your references. So similarly, when you are going to present your project which you are doing at home in the form of PowerPoint, your presentation will be again under the same heading, so the same format. So let's discuss each and every component, how you're going to make your PowerPoint. Number one, the very first thing, in your PowerPoint should be the title of the project. So you have to write down, you have to give a title to your project. So your first slide will be the title slide. You have to write the title of your project, and also you have to write your own name and your instructor's name. So that is your first slide. Moving next will be your introduction. Now in the introduction, they always remember there are three things. In the introduction, first of all, we always introduce a subject. So whatever you're working on, whether you're working on osmosis, you're working on acids and bases, whatever is your subject, whatever is your experiment, you have to give little introduction about your subject. Okay, so when we are writing a report or writing a paper, we can like write 4 or 5 lines giving the introduction to the subject. But because it's a PowerPoint presentation, you're presenting your project, you cannot write 4 or 5 lines, it's a lot. And always remember, in the PowerPoint we never write complete sentences. You have to write the bulletin points. Okay, you have to write the important points. So you have to give introduction to your subject, whatever you have worked on. Just give 2 or 3 maximum points. Okay, and write very short lines so that the audience can understand it too. Okay, so you have, in the introduction, you have to introduce your subject. Number second, you have to briefly describe your project. You have to briefly describe your project, not again lengthy lines, not no details, just briefly describe your project, so that you have to use minimum lines, but you have to convey the message in a way that the your audience can understand what kind of work you have done. Okay, what kind of project you have done. Okay, what kind of scientific experiment you have done. And the third thing is hypothesis. So I expect you know what hypothesis is. So in just one single line or one bulletin point, So you will make a bulletin point of hypothesis, and you will write your hypothesis in a very short sentence, what your hypothesis of your project is. So the introduction basically includes the introduction of your subject. Number two, you have to briefly describe your project. Number three, hypothesis. These are the three components of introduction. Okay, next is materials and method. So I would prefer, for materials, just make one separate slide for materials, okay, and give the list of all the stuff you have used for your experiment. You have used some glasses, you have used some spoons, you have used any kind of material you have used. I would like you to make one slide only for materials. Give the list of the stuff you use for your experiment. Then move to methods. Now, what are methods? So make a separate slide for methods. Methods is basically your protocol or your recipe. What method you have used to perform your experiment. So give us a detailed procedure. Okay, again, no, please don't write in paragraphs. You have to make the bulletin points and explain in minimum words. But remember that whatever the way you are writing, it should be clear to people. Okay, so you have to give your procedure, and it has to be detailed procedure, which means you need to tell us exact amounts of some volumes, the weight or time period you're measuring, whatever you're doing, all those parameters you have to give detailed information. Okay, so that is your methods. Moving next will be your results. Okay, the next slide will be your results. Now, results is the data which you will be collecting after you perform your experiment. Now, this data you have to represent in the form of the figures, which can include your bar graphs, line graphs. Okay, and also you can show your raw data, which means the numbers or whatever you have been measuring in your project. You need to give us a raw data in the form of a table, and that data you can represent in the form of your figures, your graphs. You can have line graphs, you can have bar graphs, or you can also click pictures while you are performing your experiment. You can please click your picture, and you can insert those photos in your results part. And the great thing will be if you can make a video and insert in the results part. That will be awesome. If you can make a video of your experiment and insert in the results, that's going to be great. So this is your results. Okay, and after your results is your discussion part. Now, discussion part, again, you have to, don't write in paragraphs and long sentences. Now, discussion. Okay, again, make your bulletin points. Now, discussion, what is included in discussion? Discussion is basically the insights you get from your data. Okay, so basically discussion reflects your understanding of the project. So you have to discuss your results. What kind of results you're getting, you have to discuss them. Okay, why you're getting like that, or why you're not getting like that. So you have to discuss your results. Okay, you have to give your insights, and also you have to go and look online in the literature if somebody has done similar work, has somebody done similar kind of experiment, and what kind of results they got. And you have to compare your results with the other group's results. Okay, if somebody has done similar experiment, and you have to make comparisons, so that will be included in your discussion. So you will be discussing your results, you will be telling us your insights. Number two, you will be looking for similar results in the literature, similar studies if somebody has done. You're going to compare your results with their results. And also in discussion, you can also include some points, like if you think while doing some experiment, you think these were the sources of error, might be because of these factors you didn't get very good results, or whatever, like you can think of the sources of error, anything which you can think of which can improve your project. Okay, so try to think anything which could have been a source of error, and and by changing that thing, if you can improve your project. Okay, so include that, you can include that also in your discussion, and it makes your discussion strong. Okay, and discussion is very important part of your project, because discussion reflects your understanding. And followed by discussion will be a conclusion. Now conclusion is very concrete statement. You have to just conclude your project. Okay, no lengthy lines, no paragraphs, just one or maximum 2 points. You have to hit the nail. You have to just tell the conclusion. Okay, you have to just conclude. Okay, followed by conclusion will be references. So you have to give at least 3 to 5 references in at the end. So these references will be the list of the some other studies which you came across, and all those studies you can use in the introduction when you are introducing the subject. So because when you are introducing the subject, whatever you are telling, suppose you have worked on osmosis, you will say osmosis is the movement of water molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration through semi-permeable membrane. Now this is not your statement, right? This is somebody else's statement. And how did you got? You got either from the book or from some research paper or from some review article, right? So you have to give reference, okay, and the references support your statements. So you have to give at least 3 to 5 references, and the references come basically from your introduction. You use the references in the introduction and also in the discussion. So in the introduction part, you take the help of references, because when you are introducing the subject, you can support your statements with the references, and also in discussion when you are comparing your results with other groups. Okay, then again you have to give the reference. You have to refer to those studies, and that's the way you use your references in the paper. So at least 3 to 5. Okay, so that's the way you are going to make your presentation, your PowerPoint presentation. So one more time, it will include your title. That's the very first slide, which will include the title of the project, your name, and your instructor's name. Second will be introduction. In introduction, you're going to introduce the subject. You're going to give brief introduction, brief description about your project, and third thing is your hypothesis. Third will be materials. Give the list of the materials which you have used for your experiment. Then fourth can be your methods. So it's a detailed procedure you use to do the experiment. Detailed means you have to give all the details of the volumes you use, the weights you use, what are you measuring. Give the details. Then results. Results, the data you get after the experiment. And in results, you can represent your results. First of all, you need to give the raw data in the form of table. Then you can represent them in the form of your figures. You can make line graphs, bar graphs. You can have pictures. You can click the pictures when you're doing your project. And most importantly, if you can make videos. Then your discussion, as I just said, discussion is very important part of your presentation, because it reflects your understanding. So in discussion, you have to discuss your results. You have to compare your results with other studies. Okay, and you can, if you can find some sources of error in your project and some points which you think you can improve in future in your project. And followed by discussion will be conclusion, which has to be very concrete, which means you have to very straightforwardly conclude your project, and that will be followed by the list of your references, 3 to 5. Okay, so that's the way you're going to make your PowerPoint presentation. I hope it's clear. And again, if you guys have any questions, you're most welcome to contact me by email. And if you need any feedback, if you need any help for your choosing the experiment, or you're not sure about it, you're most welcome to send me by email. And before you upload on Blackboard, if you need my feedback before that, you're most welcome to do that. Okay, so that's all.